Hey, what's up guys? I'm doing a French guide in AOE4. I know some of you guys are coming from StarCraft 2, going into AOE4, not sure exactly what to do. And I think French is one of the best civs to start with because it's just so good right now. And this is kind of the build that I've been giving to friends of mine who are just getting into the game and they're like, what should I do as French? And I'm like, well, this is just the best build you could possibly do. It takes advantage of all the good things about French. Just really hammers home the aggression and stuff too. It's really fun to play. Yeah, I think it's just a good build to start with, just because once you do kind of like pushes and pokes and stuff like that, and then give yourself some time to macro and figure things out, it's a lot less pressure rather than being the one defending it and having to play perfectly and defend whatever's going on. So it's just a really good way to get into a game, in my opinion. And we're on French Pass. Oh, wait, no. King of the Hill is what we're on. Versus an Abbasid player, I believe. Now, something to note here is it says I'm supply blocked, but I'm actually still producing a villager. So everything in this game, even if you're supply blocked, will go to its max timing. And then it'll stop at the last second. So you can see here, it stopped here. But just as it stopped, that house finished up. So we actually put 8 on food, and then we rallied the 9th worker to here, and because it's the 9th worker plus the scout, that was 10 supply, and then we just immediately go for a mining camp after that. We build mining camp with both these guys, and then we're going all on to the gold. So that's a little tip. I noticed a lot of people, including myself actually until recently, would make a house at a little bit too early, not taking advantage of that little wiggle room of that bar there. So definitely important to note for all your builds in any civ you're playing. But just to reiterate here, we got 8 on food. We just focused only on food, and now we're going all into gold. Generally speaking, you'll pretty much do this for every single build unless there's like a specific like dock build you're doing, or maybe you want a tower for some defensive reason. This is kind of your baseline for builds in this game, just because feudal age will cost only food and gold. So here, 400 food, 200 gold. That's just perfect for what we need. We're getting all that right away. And you gotta be careful with how many villagers you queue up. I actually had 2 queued up and I canceled 2. And then here we go. Perfect timing, I'm gonna put it right there. We're gonna have all 5 build landmarks. It's a little bit more than usual if you've ever played other civs. Maybe you do like 2, maybe even 4, but 5's a little bit unusual. But just because this landmark's so powerful, School of Cavalry, get that knight out right away. You just start doing damage. It's absolutely beneficial to having 5. Of course, you can do a little bit later. But for this build, we're just gonna be very aggressive. We're putting more on gold actually. Typically, in builds you then go for wood after the gold, but we're actually going to have these 5 queued up to make a lumber camp to then get wood after this. But for now we're just focusing on gold, and we're going to get 5 more on gold ideally. So we get 8 on food, 5 on gold, and then we're going to have 5 on wood once these are done. Now I'm just going to walk you through kind of the ideal build as it happens. Even if I might not do it perfectly, I'm just going to let you know exactly how it should be done. Of course, things aren't always perfect. I'm not sure what do I even want. Do I want income per minute? I don't even know. Age of Empires observing is a little bit weird. So we're just scouting over here. We're ideally looking for gold. We're looking for if he has any stone. We haven't seen that yet. Stone is a big indicator of expanding. If we were going to do a fast expansion build, for example, like we'd cut half of these guys onto our stone, we wouldn't focus nearly as much on gold, and we would just be rallying to stone pretty quickly here. But as we can see, we're not doing that, and neither is this guy. He actually got a pretty unlucky stone, so wasn't really much of an option for him anyway. But we're not doing that. We're going quick knight. Immediately got that knight queued up, immediately queuing up a second one in fact. And we're actually rallying too much on gold. Just 5 is fine. And then you kind of want to rally 7 onto wood. And then after 7 onto wood, then you can start thinking about hunting. Luckily we got like a really good hunting patch in the back here. But first things first, we have the knight out. And what you want to do with the knight is you get your first 2 knights out, and then right after that you want to get this chivalry upgrade, because we're not going to have quite enough food to get a 3rd royal knight out while getting consistent vills. So we're going for the chivalry upgrade with just 2 really quick back-to-back knights. But for this initial timing, you really want your scout with your knight, because what happens is you do the charge, does half the damage. Knight swings, doesn't quite kill it, but with the scout swing too, it gets the kill. So you really want to get that going. Charge, swing. The scout must have got it, but I didn't see it. But charge and swing does not really work for knights. It just barely doesn't kill it. So you really want to have that scout finish him off. Super, super powerful. Of course, now we got the 2nd knight. Not nearly as big of a worry. But back here we have 7 on wood. That's when you want to stop getting wood and we want to think about hunting. And that's where we got here. We rallied all the hunts. We're now just going only into food here. Transitioning into deer. And we're just harassing non-stop. See, we got some poking going on. Barely didn't get that. Barely again. But we're doing so much damage regardless. And the great thing is, compared to like a ruse, all these knights will just heal up with the chivalry upgrade. Everything's completely fine. Even if you overextend a little bit, the only thing you're worried about a little bit is the scout, because you do want to have this vision. But here we go, got the double charge, and then that's a kill. So double charge is a kill. Charge and a swing is not a kill, but charge and a swing with a scout is a big kill every time. So it's all about that consistency. We're just poking, prodding. Again, 7 on wood here, 5 on gold, and we're just rallying only the food at this point, but we're going on to the deer. So a thing people underestimate is with cavalry, you can really take advantage of this map control, because that we can take things like deer pretty easily, especially when it's in a pocket like this. This is a fantastic spawn. But also we can easily go to berries after this, after the sheep dissipate a little bit, and we want to start moving a little bit more outside the map. I usually end up taking the 2nd deer patch actually after the first one's gone, just because I have so much map control, especially versus these archer civs that really can't take the map control back easily. You know, you have to get a bunch of archers for one, but then you have to get pikes to support it, and it just takes so much more money than it does for you to have map control. And even then, you're still not mobile, and you can still counterattack and really be annoying. But on the back of this, see, we're getting the mill on the berries now that the sheep's gone. And we got a blacksmith. We're going to get that +1 armor, or maybe even range, depending on what you're dealing with. You automatically get that +1 attack, so there's no worries on that part. But kind of depending on what we're facing, we might get +1 armor, we might get +1 to range, or even melee. In this case, kind of looking like melee is on the table, but we're just getting huge damage here. And this is all just so free. It's really, really difficult to stop this, because if you charge properly with 2 knights on 1 vill, it just, they have to brace to stop you with the spears, and it's just very difficult. So yeah, a little tip for people trying to defend this: holding down stop on your pikes around your vills and key areas, and then just bracing is absolutely great for this, because you just can't get that charge in because it cancels it out. You know, they'll even root them for a couple seconds and cause a lot of problems if you can get a follow-up. But as you can see, it's just absolutely broken for the French player. And we have, okay, so we have the blacksmith for the upgrade. After this, I like to get the market to kind of help my economy. Wood is not really necessary, so we sell some wood most of the time. I actually got this from watching Kaposh, great player who I learned a lot from, and his kind of way of playing out this French knight build was just fantastic. So usually I go for stone around this time. I'd say 8-9 minutes, kind of depending on how safe you're feeling. And then you can get your second stable as well with that money, which is right here. Now, important to note is I usually like going for a second stable at around 20 food, so we can really start pumping out those knights consistently, and also still be able to support the vills. But also, once you get this transition phase, we got 8 on gold now, and we're only rallying more. Want 10 on gold. I'd say 20 on food is great, and then once you get to that point, that's when stone really starts becoming very, very nice. So after this, we'll be rallying the stone and we'll be getting an expansion. I think in some cases, you know, if you know for sure that they're not all-inning you, like they're going for a fast expansion really quickly, going for a quicker fast expansion and skipping out on, you know, the second stable and maybe the market is absolutely fantastic, and you could just get that base up maybe 7-8 minutes, and then you can start going for the second stable and market and stuff like that. But because this guy's on one base, we really don't want to commit to a fast second base, because he can absolutely, especially as an Abbasid, just ram all in us, and we really want a second stable versus that. And second stable really allows you to be safe versus just about anything if you play well and you just poke and harass. Because once we're at the second stable production, you can just see, I mean, we have 5 knights over here, and we're just moving around, we're kiting nonstop, and they just can't do anything about it. But he is absolutely going for a push at this point. He's got so many pikes, and let's reveal a little bit here. Yeah, just only archery ranges and barracks rallying across the map. And since he's Abbasid, he already has that battering ram upgrade, or the siege engineering, I forget exactly the upgrade name. And you got to be very, very careful versus this stuff. Again, second stable is the best way to defend something like this. Do not want to expand versus a one base player in general, because of this exact reason. These battering rams can just murder you. But besides that, that's pretty much the build. You know, we got the 20 gold, or the 20 food, 10 gold once you're on 2 stables. Having that 5 gold just for that 1 stable production, you know, it's pretty much just like 5 gold per stable, I'd say, is a fantastic way to aim. Getting those hunts out, you know, we're even going for a second hunt tier, because if he even goes for this spot, he's just totally out of the way, and we're going to give ourselves so much more time. So you can really go out for these hunts, even if they're a little bit out there, as long as they're not in the area. Like, say if they were forward like this, it'd be really bad to have a hunt there. But since it's kind of out of the way on the sides, this is a fantastic place to hunt, and you can really just formulate a good game plan with this kind of stuff. You have so much map control. I mean, as he was pushing across the map, I just saw all the way through what was happening, and there's just not much you can do, and you just poke and prod, and you just wait until the spears are spread out, and you can go for an engagement. So I'm gonna go that last engagement here as he pushes in with the 2 rams. He spreads out a little bit, and you just go for it. Getting that initial ram damage, or the charge damage, excuse me, is key, and you could very easily do that if they're in mid-animation attacking something, or they're just not paying attention, you think, in general. You can always get that charge in, and if they brace, you can always back out. But you see, you brace there, and it just doesn't matter, because knights are just way too good, especially with this many. We're doing pullback micro, but it doesn't even matter. And yeah, that's it. So we just got this build here. I think this is great if you're just starting out in the game. Really fundamental stuff. You can expand out of this, just kind of reactive, and it just kind of all comes together, in my opinion. I really had the most fun with this, most fluid build that I personally did. I think you'll have a lot of fun too if you try it on the ladder. So thanks for watching. Definitely look out for more guides in the future. Looking to do some of my personal favorites that I've been playing over the last couple weeks. And I'll see you around.